Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. This is going to be an intense one, so get ready. It is March 2nd, 2019. The 2 is the High Priestess, so very psychic, intuitive, peaceful, feminine energies. And the day adds up to 17, which is the Star. So it's all about your hopes and dreams and wishes and healing and believing in miracles and having the psychic abilities to get them done. Okay? So believe in yourself. The read was done for the union at 9:50 this morning. 50 is the 10 of Cups, right? It's emotional fulfillment. The major arcana were the solar deity, which is the sun in the Sirian starseed deck, and the lovers. The card after the read was the Emperor. Those were the only major arcanas there. And the Emperor is actually called Reason in this deck. There were 4 swords, 3 pentacles, 1 cup, 1 wand. So heavy on the swords today, which I definitely woke up that way. Actually, when I went into my inner child and my masculine's inner child today, I did become a little bit teary-eyed. My inner child was there in the middle. Like I always have there's a middle bed for the kids, and then there's one on each side when they don't want to hang out together. And she was there. She was just a little grainy. She wasn't as clear as usual. But she was in the middle, and she just kind of had a solemn look on her face, and I'm like, where's our little guy? And she's like, he's here, and he was like sitting behind her. She came up and gave me a hug because she saw that I needed it, which was weird because that's never happened before. It's usually me going to them, right? So she came up and gave me a hug, and then she showed me that he was there behind her in the middle. They were both in the middle, and he was a little bit older than her. She was very young. And he actually came up as a child and hugged me as well, very tightly around the neck, and said that I'm a little boy. If I come now, I'm going to hurt you. Okay, so that was the message coming up for the masculine, which made me, tear up a little bit. But there was a lot of stuff as I'm doing the read. I had to stop many times to look stuff up online because I kept getting guidance to look things up. So there's a lot that comes up here. The court cards were just the Page of Pentacles in the position of how the union sees itself. So in this card, the Sirian starseed deck, it is very much about seeking your psychic abilities, and being excited about your abilities and working on them and researching them. The Nine of Pentacles also came up, which isn't a court card, but I often see it as a sovereign for you or a teen or 20-year-old, that type of energy. The energy was all around environment and spirituality today. The numbers came up 5, 2, and 7, as well as 22, 55, 23, 25, 8, 9, 10, and 43, 11. And around environment and spirituality, the messages were coming up that sweet eating is good. All right, so, and for me, I've been bad too. I should have gone to the grocery store already, but I haven't, so I'm out of some things to make my juice in the morning that I usually have. So it's just a reminder to make sure you treat yourself well, all right, and eating is good, and especially for grief, right? So vitamin C is coming up again, because that came up yesterday, that it's helpful for healing to take higher doses of vitamin C. So make sure you're taking at least something like a multivitamin and a C. You probably need vitamin D as well, because everyone who's inside all the time is vitamin D deficient. I can't say everybody, but most people these days probably are, okay? I know I was for sure. So you can have your vitamin D tested too at your doctor at your regular appointment if you want to check on that. Also, so that's for both the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Anyone who's in grief right now or purging, take vitamin C. Also is getting, as the sun rises, to go outside. So it was like northeast was coming up again, but it was showing me to go out when east is the sun rising, right? And then to look up at the sky at the time of the sunrise. So that might be very grounding as well. Also, EIG, that code was coming up again. And this has been coming up a lot for Europe, India Gateway, which is a cable gateway from Europe to India, which goes through a lot of different countries. But I was getting that that was kind of like a 4D bridge, so to be careful with that. And Russia was coming up here, and Morocco as well today. Russia came up several times, and I couldn't think of the name Morocco for some reason, and I was trying to think of it. What is it? Like the red and orange colors. Why can't I think of that country? But Morocco is coming up as well, and Casablanca, which I'll bring up again when it comes up in the read. Also, so EIG is eating is good. Europe India Gateway is like a 40 bridge is like purgatory, right? You don't want to be stuck in the bridge. You want to be in 5D or 3D, right? But you have to go through the bridge to get to 5D. So it's about getting through all that murkiness, the dark night, okay, to get to the 5D side. So then some coding came up around EIG and syntax. So for you mathematicians, you might want to check that out and see how it might parallel to something spiritual for you. Again, the EIG syntax, E equals EIG and A in parentheses. I'm not going to go into that since that's not my strength. And you can see the Europe-India Gateway landing points if you want to know the countries that it goes through. Egypt is one of them, and so is France. And Monaco, yeah, Portugal, Libya. Also the Ford Escape came up. Oh, and that the gateway is 15, and the devil came up in the read today, 15,000 kilometers long, or kilometers, and which is the devil, and then Russia for me was coming up again, okay? And I have nothing against Russians, which I didn't know until about 10 years ago, but my biological grandfather is actually Russian, which we didn't know until about 10 years ago. My natural grandfather was not. He was, he had, I don't go into that story right now, I'll tell another time, but anyway. Nothing against Russians, okay? I'm part Russian, actually. But it's coming up. And if you might notice, too, that it feels like you just don't hear much about Russia, right? It's been very silent for many years. And there's something about that, like the calm before the storm. And so the 2018 Ford Escape came up from Edmonds, and also coffee, ground, instant, internet came up, and on that same heading was the K-Cups, the King of Cups. And then it said 32-foot section, FT section. And 32 is that Six of Wands, right? The journey, it's the one who's successful getting attention, the King of Cups, but on the journey. And coffee was coming up around that, but ground was coming up there. So, you know, instantly ground. Also coffee, I brought up that scrub before. Coffee, organic salt with olive oil and rose petals is amazing. And a lot of numbers came up with that coffee thing too. I guess K1 was coming up a couple times, but also 995550879. 2 green. Hazelnut, of course, came up. 9955 came up. 28, the twins, and then 111 came up twice, as well as 411, emergent information needed, and then 02447, I think it was, and then 79111. 79 is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, after the 78 of the end of the deck, which is the 10 of Pentacles. St. Peter's came up. The heading was St. Peter's by James Lees-Milne, M-I-L-N-E. And then other headings that just bring up random words were coming up. 3rd, 4th, so that may be significant for someone. Roman missiles and Catholic were coming up in a heading. Model 1 Northeast. Union Pacific Railroad came up. Needles and Pins with Sonny Bono, and the guitarist with him was Jack Nitsch. It's N-I-T-Z-S-C-H-E, okay, so I'm sorry if I tore it apart. But Sonny Bono came up there, as well as libraries and Gutenberg. Martina Navratilova, 11 consecutive. All right, so she has 11 consecutive singles finals in tennis, and so tennis is coming up again because that came up the other day. So it might be a really good outlet for some of you. Okay, tennis. And I was just getting a bad feeling about the this gateway, like a 4D bridge, and it was being related to me as bad spirits and grief. So to Northeast, and then I was getting Russia from the Northeast. So there's something going on there. Also ESPN was going up, or came up in the headings. So getting into the read, lightning strikes, and this is the union read. For the Queen of Wands, which is coming up as just 10-10, so keep that high energy, high vibration. Lightning strikes as the Queen of Wands, who's Sagittarius or Leo, secretly moving forward, or maybe working on grief and regret. Weakness comes out, or ego death. Her not empowered, drained of finances, power, and independence. So this tiger sweet streak, or tiger streak, is now done in separation of family, and this is coming up as the Queen of Wands. Or secret or psychic offer to help one who is grieving in sadness, now aware for her, the Divine Masculine, but powerless to help him, this Queen of Wands, which always comes up as the karmic in my reads. So it doesn't matter if you're a fire sign, there's nothing against fire signs. It's just coming up as the karmic because it's very representative of ego, because Leo is very ego. So the karmic is now understanding the deep grief that the masculine is going through, but has no power to help him. The hermit must watch his or her exposed back, as the King of Pentacles goes for a doctor's appointment before making a speech, or just a lecture, or talking to a soulmate, partner, connection, going forward. You know, practicing the speech, moving or traveling, a coming together to blend ideas, taking the show on the road, being comfortable and natural, and just keeping an eye on his lead foot. Okay, so he could be practicing what he wants to say to the Divine Feminine when he comes forward. Also merging by fall for some, integrating, or there may be someone with him, and I'm definitely getting for both the masculine and feminine that there's a father or older man that's with them, watching them, and it could be one of their fathers watching both of them. So this is definitely energy coming up. I was definitely getting my dad with my masculine, helping him out, but he's got his back. Lovers are out exposed to crosses on the walls, now taken down, dumping emotions and relationships no longer serving, to come full circle. 3 crosses per 3 cups. Okay, so you're dumping out emotions, you're also dumping out crosses to bear, your burdens. Forgive, release, forgive, release. And I was getting that actually the masculine understands this better than the feminine. Forgive, release, just do it. Forgive, release, forgive, release. Because the feminine tends to get more emotional about it. To complete the cycle and walk to the beat of your own drum, according to your own DNA, connecting to center Earth and central Sun. And also Andromedan comes up here. So again, the lovers. Where's the lovers again? The lovers comes up, the position of how the union sees itself is the Page of Pentacles, but the environment or how the union is seen is the Lovers card. So I haven't seen it in that position. And what did I want to tell you from the other day? Oh, I got you know those random calls. I got a random call from, it was labeled from Russia yesterday. And it was one of those Chinese phone calls, so it was the strangest thing. Like I was getting a Chinese, like, you know, pitch type phone call. It always comes up as scam, but it was from Russia. So very interesting there. China, Russia connection, you get it? And Iraq or Iran or whoever, you know, the triple threat. That's coming up here. All right. But again, no fear. You know, you guys know there's no reason to fear. Okay? Don't feed into any of that. Just be aware. Stormy weather came up then. Neither rain nor sleet nor gloom at night. And this is Herodotus, Greek historian. Greek-Persian War was about 500 BC, so 2,500 years ago. That was that initial, you know, mailman. It was the mailman's, what it came out to be was a little bit different than the original, but the original was neither rain nor sleet nor gloom at night. No, neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays these courageous couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. All right, this is a message for you, the angels. Then I was getting the definition. I was looking up toggle definition. 2 bars jointed end to end, but not in line. So when the force is applied to the joint between the two, tending to straighten it, aligning, pressure is exerted on parts adjacent or fixed to the outer ends of the bars. Okay? So I was getting hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you lose control, right? Because the toggle sits in the portal very, very loosely, but also toggles coming up as price tags, labels, attachments, pin, rod, bolt, a fixed crosswise through eye of the portal. Okay, eye of the storm, eye of the tiger keeps coming up. But I also get those in, you know, so the toggle end is like this. And whenever I connect to Central Earth, I always use a toggle, which was so weird, you know, to make sure it stays on the other side of the core, and for my Central Sun as well. So, and it's coming up as half each or half of the H. That's another meaning for the H, and for the T, because the T isn't sufficient support, because not only is it top heavy, but when it's side to side, it's only half of what's needed, right? You need your other half. So all of these were coming together here. And also the dragonfly was talking about 2 rods come together, and that's how the dragonflies mate, right? So they come together, and then they land on a plant, and then they fold into a heart, okay? And you have your heart, and they mate. All right, so the underlying cards that came up here were worth waiting for, with angels on it. This is the underlying energy where these 2 are showing. Passion was just beneath it, so I'll show you that as well. Okay, worth waiting for. See the angels. It says divine timing is at work in your love life. And then passion beneath. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. And then a car raced by north. And I'm always guided at certain times to write that down. So that's a positive thing, right? Going north. Checking out. So I was getting from the cards here. So hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you lose control. Keep going through the stormy weather. Gray skies and dark interference. Persistence, right? Keep going. Worth waiting for. Passion. And then in the cards, I was getting some divine masculines, maybe checking out butts. Or maybe recalling situations when they were with their feminine. When they were checking out your butt, or when someone was bent over, sitting on a table, admiring shoulders and back and your shape. Also your flower and your gift, stone or a book by the window. Crossed ankles, feet, and toes. I was getting all of a sudden. I was wondering, so many times I look at this card, I'm like, what? There's something here I need to know, but I'm not getting it. And I got it today. So this came up yesterday and the day before. Amish and the Mennonites were coming up, and when I looked it up, because I live near Amish country, not only was the what was the title that was what I was looking, but there was 2 things that came up that were syncing, and on the sign of this building that was looking familiar to me, because I have like deja vus with some of the stuff when I drive by in different places. That's happened to me up in like Connecticut area too, north of here, which may be, you know, Salem witch type stuff. But Cross Keys was coming up on the sign, and also there's a Cross Keys place where you can jump near me in New Jersey. That's where I jumped out of a plane many years ago. But so Cross Keys had already been coming up for me, but it's been coming up a lot in the cards. So that was coming up there. For me, that the keys, right? Because the feet were cross keys, the key is the toes. And so it's just bringing me back to my first connection with my guides was my toes, from my toes. So when I first started meditating, my toes was my guide. And my toes, when you look up, you know, it's myth, mythos, right? So mythos, and it's spelled two different ways. There's mythos, M-Y-T-H-O-S, but there's also M-Y-T-O-S, which I'll get into in a second. But mythos is, you know, theater in ancient Greece. That's where it came from. The play, the players, the plot. Humans sprang from the forehead of a god of the Superman. Coming from mythos, that humans sprang from the forehead, the third eye, of a god, which was the Superman. And then it quoted a pattern of beliefs expressing often symbolically the characteristic or prevalent attitudes in a group or culture. In other words, the theme or the plot. And these were just coming from the different dictionaries. Dictionary.com and freedictionary.com. I was also in Marian Dictionary. So, and this theme or plot was saying that it was especially around supernatural forces, okay? So we have the Superman with the activation of the third eye from the forehead that now has a theme for the twins around supernatural forces. So mythos, M-Y-T-O-S, is from sympathetic.com, integrates the established core technologies of Helos, H-E-L-O-S, laser diffraction, and Rhodos, dry dispersion, in a single robust body, IA process, proven laser diffraction sensor for dry powders ranging from 0.25 units, whatever the unit is, units measured, to 3,500, okay? So 0.25 to 3,500. And then 3,500 comes up again. And 0.25 is what came up in the codes with 52 reflecting each other, which is the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Wands. And then 35 is the Wounded Warrior, Mary Magdalene, all right? So we have very much, you know, the play off of the masculine and the feminine here. But anyone who knows about this information about the laser diffraction here with Rhodos and Helos, if you could bring it up in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Also, mythos, M-I-T-O-S, comes up as just the translation for myth into Spanish. But also Crazy Games was coming up here under mythos, where they eat the other cells, like the enemy, like cancer does to your body. That's what this game was. And also then brackets were coming up. I was getting a lot of brackets today. So also in the read was coming up here that the masculine maybe can't forget a hug that you had or some kind of affection, and longing to be held. And then Ginger was coming up. I wanna be loved by you, and nobody else but you. I wanna be loved by you alone. Okay, so that was coming up. The divine masculine still tugging at heartstrings with someone else in his bed, or he's now alone and using music to calm the beast, or a harp potentially. And then harp was coming up, harpoon therapeutics, and that was bringing me back again to Gilligan's Island with the harpoon. And also harp was coming up as Irish, right, as slang. And then harps were in existence as early as 3,500 BC. So now that 3,500 is coming up to match the 3,500 from the other definition that came up, which was a measurement, had nothing to do with the year. 3,500, the exact number came up. Then home, also harp is refinancing, so harp came up. But the definition for a harp is let's listen to this, a plucked instrument with a resonator, arched neck, supported by posts and strings attached. Okay, how do you like that? That was from Merriam Dictionary, Merriam. And then the blues harp came up as the diatonic harmonica. And so a harmonica would then be translated as harmonica is a French harp, and a harp is an Irishman, so a harmonica is a French Irishman. And then the blues harp is considered to be the 10-hole harp, 10, high vibrational, with available in 12 keys. All 12 keys are available. And then when I looked that up, a search engine came up, Sweetwater. Sweet emotions, Sweetwater, and the harp and the harmonica. Okay, so the soul music, you know. So the diatonic harmonica allows you to get any keys because it's smaller than the other one, the chromatic harmonica. But it lets you get through every complete scale, the 7 notes, because there's 10 holes in that one. So the smaller one, the blues harp, the diatonic harmonica, was coming up as 3 octaves as opposed to the 4 of the chromatic, which is a bigger harmonica. Okay, so there's definitely parallels coming up there. Whew. Then matching, I turn the page, it's 1140. 40 is the Page of Cups. And it was interesting, I just realized 2500 years came up earlier that I told you about, and I just told you 25 and 52. All right, and 35 is the wounded warrior Mary Magdalene, but then 25 is considered the Knight of Wands, which is the wounded warrior masculine, the actual warrior. Okay, so you see that parallel too. So now we have 40 is the 1140 is Justice and the Page of Cups, and matching for the harp, matching string to a pulse, to a heartbeat. So some masculines may be matching music tones. So somebody may be working with music and their patients, or just people they work with, and matching the music to a pulse or a heartbeat. And then the police came up and sting with every beat of my heart, right? With every breath I take, every move you make, I'll be watching you. Oh, can't you see? You belong to me. My poor heart aches with every step you take. All right, and then so that police song had to do with surveillance technology and the justice system, right? That no one has any privacy anymore, but it was also your masculine reaching out to you. And then I was getting the sting, the actual sting. So somebody might be getting caught, or your masculine may be actually participating in a sting. He uses music and touch to manipulate energies. So some of the masculines understand how to do this. To keep you on the edge, or on the ledge, so to speak, holding on to him. Okay, so he knows how to manipulate those energies. Third-party prisoner held captive by affection. There may be 5 or 6 small flames around him. So he may be getting some attention, and it could just be flirtation or whatever. But it's coming up as there's only one hostage situation, and that's you. And then 37 comes up, and 37 is the King of Cups, right? Unconditional love, but it's also coming up as 327, which is March to July, which is now. So it's a big time right now. Pride came up. Actually, that was left out, so it's saying leave your pride aside. Number 19 is the Sun, expose all, so you can't have pride. Then we have self-love, which is 61, which is about taking a risk to love yourself first, no matter what. And compassion, which is 99, was below that. And so 99 is very much about endings, you know, double nines. And compassion, universal selflessness. And 9 and 9 is 18 of the moon. That feminine energy. So the Page of Swords reverse comes up here. And we're still in the underlying energy that doesn't trust. All right, so this is a masculine energy coming up. When he was young, a boy, whatever happened to him taught him not to trust. So of course the Page of Swords reverse lies. After all, he's got 3 feathers in his cap, and lies, and or a personality disorder. At home, sweet flowers all around his roof in magenta with gold, with a dragonfly in the right corner by the door where he comes in. The door is protected with laser technology, and it's just him, for whoever this applies to. So he's the only one living there. Jupiter rising and Cancer North Node. Ruby red markings on astrological dial. Pen and ink first prize. Ebony pen with gold leaf, his weapon of choice. Chain never leaves his side. Spaces between on his shirt. All right, so his pen is his weapon, so hooking his pen on his shirt, so he always has something to write with. His weakness is ruby red, gold twisted horns, Red Star Comics. And this was cool, because then I was getting, I don't know anything about superheroes and comic strips, all that kind of stuff. But Red Star was coming up. That was the first thing I saw, and it's a Russian comic. Leonid Konstantinovich, and my father's name's Konstantin, and his name when he moved to this country was Cope, C-O-P-E. That's how everyone knows him. But his parents' name was Kapelovich, and he's Konstantin Kapelovich. And here's the name Konstantinovich, okay? Leonid Konstantinovich and Kovar is the name of Red Star, the superhero. And my oldest brother's Leonard, Leonard, okay? But like Leonardo da Vinci was coming up, and that was coming up, was it last week? Or it could even be this week. So Red Star was formerly Starfire, Russian superhero in the DC universe, communist, you know, all about service to his country. Starman also came up with fire energy and bolts, right? So lasers and fire is very much up the Divine Masculine's alley. The name was Ted Knight from April of 1941. It was number 61, which is that self-risk, right? Was considered an astronomer and invented a gravity rod, a cosmic rod, then it was called, allowing him to fly and manipulate energy. Red and green costume and a finned helmet. Okay, so keep this in your mind. And this is the Russian superhero. Also appeared again, because this was back in 41, appeared in the Justice League number 7 in November 2018. This just happened in November. So he's back. The Russian's back. So Starman of 1951 also came up from DC Universe. Actually, Batman of 51 is the King of Swords. Jack Knight, 1990, son of Ted. Cosmic staff with t-shirt and leather jacket with the star on the back instead of a uniform. Cracker Jack prize sheriff's star, the 5-pointed star, just like the Dallas Cowboys. Light shielding tank goggles. Okay, so goggles is coming up here again. So that was the Batman of 1951, Jack Knight. Also, stuff that was coming up as the masculine's weaknesses were Longhorn Steakhouse, if someone's trying to become vegetarian. Ruby Star Band was coming up, as well as Ruby Lane, the Antiques, and Dallas Cowboys. And there's just the name Ruby Horn came up. And when I looked it up, there was one in Star, North Carolina, which North Carolina keeps coming up. But there was another one that wasn't Star, North Carolina, but still North Carolina, that was age 107. How do you like that? And the one in Star was in their 70s. So 70 and then 107. Blue Eyes, Winged Swords, Blue Ribbon Awards, Fiery Horny Devil, Destined to Lie, Covering Eyes. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like. Okay? So the Who. And Engine Never Stops Running. This is the masculine talking about himself. Chugga chugga choo choo. And then I was getting motor in. What's your price for flight in finding Mr. Right? So Sister Christian, what's your price to leave? What's your price for flight? To leave or go, to stay, or for you to say what's okay, to be yourself, and Spirit's connecting with me. All right, the inner workings of his thought patterns, the masculine. The child with mistrust or distrust. He was taught to distrust. Now the adult thus lies. Told he wasn't worth anything. Destined to lie to find stability. Dark family, codependency, and separation. Lightning strikes and his whole world changes. Making a bold move. Angel worth waiting for. Waiting for harp to break. So there might be some Irish stuff here, or just the heartstrings that he's been plucking to break. Every person he sees has his divine feminine's face. He realizes there is no escape. Pride is not self-love. It is dark energy. To be the man of passion, the horniest, longest-lasting ball-buster asshole was coming up here. No higher self existing there. That's all pride, obviously. Sent higher self out for coffee. This is the masculine making a joke. Recently, rising above the Queen of Cups reversed, family female who's fiery manipulator, to be happy on his own and make magic, manifesting, walking to the beat of his own drum. Complete. The foundation here is hiding in anxiety, draining the Empress, impatient in separation and heartbreak. One or the other. This is a union read, so you reflect each other. Feeling badly for taking her son away and depleting her life force. Centrally, it's coming up brain wars for the union. All right, the fight within your own mind, the war, which can be external as well, because if you're that way internally on a regular basis, it's going to reflect in your outer world. So brain wars in the center, that Five of Swords, faceless justice, finding peace there, like getting justice for others that aren't part of his life at work. Okay, shining his light, star of justice on his uniform. So here we are with the star hero again. At work, he may have made some bad decisions to get his dreams. Some decisions, the journey is still out. He's deliberating. The Emperor is in love with Sovereign. The challenge being grief he's never experienced before. Choosing path of third party, but clinging to warrior ways. But then questioning self. What have I done to be arrogant, to be number one? It is not the same as happiness on his own, on her own, with ice cream and nuts, resisting the urge. When you have choices, there are always options. Now crowning is sovereign twin, or it could be a child, the children or twin, or both, not talking to the divine masculine, their backs turned toward each other, but his inner child is always asking for a date from his divine feminine, draining them both. Shut down and burdened by the heavy load that for the masculine it's easier to go back to his devilish ways. Standing up for himself, though, now he is standing up for himself. To what was coming up is the threesome here. King of Pentacles reversed, Hermit reversed, and the King of Swords reversed. All three in a row together. It's definitely a group that the masculine is involved with. The King of Pentacles reversed is like greed. The Hermit reversed is mental disease. And the King of Swords reversed is nasty verbal abuser. Okay? How can you win in a group like that? Right? And you are the company that you keep. So all wanting to get this love, the divine feminine, out of the way. The group, the family, the gossip at work, all against her, taking their source. The group may pretend to befriend her in a healthy offer to the divine feminine, a temptation to distract, to derail her, divide and conquer, causing conflict, drama between them to get their wish, for the family, the group to get their wish. But they don't understand how she can still be offering him love. What's the catch? They're like looking like, I don't get it. What's her problem? What's the catch, right? So soon is the sun, the solar deity, fully energized, exposing a message about purging cycles of spirituality, of divorce, of breaks in commitments with establishment that are weak, and or a Leo who needs courage, or just that establishment needing courage, or whatever that connection was. Or there could be a Taurus who's full of it, inspired to catch up to the divine feminine, even if both are left out in the cold. This is coming from the masculine. He is seeing, he wants to come in, he wants to come to you. He realizes now, even if you're both left out in the cold, that you guys will always have the truth, and that's really all you need, which cuts through any BS, toxicity, and or frustration. Union is the Page of Pentacles, discovering psychic abilities in downturn or slowdown of truth and triumph. It was just 11, 39:11, so 39 is the Knight of Cups, offering love and justice. So the slowdown of truth and triumph, and then I was getting Mercury retrograde, because that's coming up on Tuesday, using abilities to get information that they both need. So now they know they have to go within themselves to get the codes and the messages that they need specific to their union. Chemistry comes up as underlying energies with true love. This is a romance of a lifetime, magnetic attraction. How many times does true love have to come up in a row? It's coming up every day now. Retreat comes up now, as well as forgiving and learning, as well as trust, which is all about faith and surrender. Around the union, or how it is seen, is the lovers imbalanced, recovering practically and financially, picking up the pieces, and pieces has pi, to perform and create positive patterns in need of opportunity to learn, to grow, to expand your horizons. A new project or possibly a small loan might be needed. Clear blocks for the union for both the masculine and feminine, and that was just the 17 of the star, and the Page of Cups as 40. Clear blocks of the label twin flames. It's okay. If you have a problem with it, that's your issue. It's just a name. Clear blocks of the idea of twin flames, especially for the masculine. The King of Cups on this twin flames card, the two flames, that's what you are. The King of Cups are unconditional love. So don't get the idea that just because you are twin flames and you are unconditional love means there's no pain, okay? There's always going to be clearing to do. However, the worst is over. Spirituality comes up as well as environment, as I told you in the beginning, but even more so using your intuition, going in for your own specific messages, your own codes, your own keys. Kids see a whipping and a rejection. Kids have their own minds and they know what's real. You don't have to tell them what to believe. They know. The Divine Feminine is in her knowing now, floating and detoxing her own frustration right now, while the Emperor over her may be disconnected and getting attention for releasing prisoner or himself out of prison. And there's a shocking release coming up here, or something at least surprising. People may be talking and not sure what to think or make of all this between the masculine and the feminine. Divine Feminine is free and doesn't care what they think or say. She may be backed by her dad, someone alive, or an older man who's no longer here, who could be watching out for both of them, or waking them up when guided to, or helping the Divine Masculine along. The Divine Masculine is working on his alignment, details, cracking codes, and standing up to others, and standing up for himself, to get moving on this, to get his passion back. The Queen of Swords is coming up reversed here, after being in deep grief, suddenly bursts where the Tower hits, or not, or she's not in her truth as the Tower hits, with sudden epiphanies, any which way or why. This read ends with union on top. Stable home and family, new home, or wedding or family party to go to. Okay, so the Four of Wands is the pyramid, the top of the pyramid, the end of the read. But the final card was the Two of Swords, as being your knowing, and the card above that was the Emperor, which is really representative of the feminine and her knowing, juggling and floating along, while the Emperor is still learning. He's standing above her. He may be detached from her for a reason right now, or maybe guiding her through being detached, and that's how it has to go. But he is also, in the meantime, standing up for himself and knowing this is what he wants. So I want to bring up Morocco, again, came up, which is Northwest Africa, for those of you who don't know, on the Mediterranean and Atlantic. There was French Morocco and Spanish Morocco divided. And also then came up, because the Russian superhero came up red and green, right? And the masculine loves red, and he is green because he's an angel. Well, guess what color the Moroccan flag is? It is red with a 5-pointed green star on it. So there's something here, okay? And this is also the largest city in Morocco is Casablanca, which was 1942, 1943. And that was around World War II, the movie. But also, Casablanca is House of White. White House? 1943, cynical nightclub owner protects old flame and her husband from Nazis in Morocco. Okay, so here's more parallels for you. It's 4412, wisdom and mastery. Can't get more evident than that. Evidence, evidentiary support is coming up. Lightning strikes and separation. Anxiety, hiding from family. Mask and hiding his psychic abilities. With lover and family legacy, whether it's his or hers, of brain wars and stress and grief. Exposing twin flames, sovereign in knowing, floating along with Emperor being strong. Separation of church and state comes up, as well as money and desire, real and fake, all of the polarities, anxiety and inner war of grief, take your vitamin C and a multivitamin. And sovereign, his feminine, or his own sovereignty. Psychic abilities discovered, exposed in light, and lovers, twin flames in knowing and in control of their union energies. And that ended at 1, 2, 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Jump. Okay? So really powerful messages there. And I want to show you in this deck, this is the two twin flames, all right? This is the Two of Wands, all right? Twin flames. There's no getting around it. And how were you guided to your journey in the first place was through that label, all right? And then this is the Two of Swords. So they're very different than your traditional deck. This is in your knowing. Floating along on a wing and a prayer, right? In your knowing. So those two twos came up. I'm going to pull you some oracle cards now. We should have some good messages coming up here. I'm going to show you the romance angel cards that came up here because there's so many of them. I want you to see how they came up. And true love was the second one out. Okay. Chemistry, true love, retreat, forgiving, and learning. Okay, the pictures. So there's trust. I'll put them as close as I can so maybe you can read them on your own. Forgiving and learning. Okay, retreat. True love. Romance of a lifetime. And chemistry. Okay? Alright, so let's see what else comes up here. We have the Syrian Starseed deck. Take a deep breath, everyone. Somebody needs to know that Motrin is not vitamin C, so stop taking so much of it. All right, don't take Motrin like water. Okay, I know I was on Motrin for a long time because of my pain, and sometimes there is a reason for it. It's not like you can never take Motrin if you need it, but if you're taking it all the time, stop taking it all the time. It's coming up as a someone's using it as a replacement for vitamin C. So replace it with vitamin C. IB. All right, Mary Magdalene and Jesus, please, for this March 2nd, 32, the journey, Six of Wands, March 2nd, 2019, for everyone watching in the best and highest good of all that's concerned. What is it we need to know? What is it we need to learn? Jesus and Mary Magdalene, please. Didn't have to go very far there, very far. There's numbers coming up here. Hilarion's number 46. 46 is the Six of Cups, the children in the garden. This is the inner children of the masculine and feminine. They want you to bring that up because what I saw today was important. Okay, as far as what the masculine said. And the affirmations, I open myself to the wisdom and guidance of Hilarion. So if you want to check out Hilarion, Light Star, who does the very detailed energy portraits of ETs and such, your own inner ET. You can check her out, but she also has a Hilarion video. That was why I went to her in the first place, so you might want to check out that Hilarion video. The cards that came out here are Paul the Venetian, first of all, which is 37, the King of Cups. I think that's the only one I'm going to read today, but I'm going to show you the others because 6 more came out, so we have the 7, the magic number 7. 70 and 107 came up earlier. We have Lord Maitreya, number 30. It was just 48, 48 going within. 30 is the Four of Wands, the Union. Ascended Master Retreats, 49, the Get Your Wish card. And 29. 29 is the Intergalactic Council. And it's also the Three of Wands, staying present. Your ship's coming in. Getting your wish for union. All right? Is that a strong enough message for you? Lord Maitreya, Ascended Masters, and Intergalactic Council. They say so. And the Intergalactic Council is Marco, Hilarion, Jesus, Ashtar, Cthulhu, Moria, Paul the Venetian, Saint Germain, Kuan Yin, Lady Nada, Serapis Bey, and Lord Maitreya. Okay, so Maitreya and Paul the Venetian are both coming up here for you to connect with, which might be helpful for you. The other 3 cards that came up were air. This came up yesterday. Wisdom. Take deep breaths, you know. All I need is the air that I breathe. Kuan Yin, 43, is the Three of Cups. So we have wisdom, coming together in joy, and Commander Ashtar, number 39, the Knight of Cups. All right, so an offer of love to come together and breathe. How perfect is that for you? Paul the Venetian says, the great Master Paul is Koan of the third ray. Okay, so we have Trinity energy here, and we're talking to Jesus. He lifts people's spirits and sets their souls free to create beauty and inspiration through music and art, and also in practical ways. This card encourages you to communicate your essence by writing, painting, or in any heartfelt manner. Call on Master Paul to help you express your visions, and he will co-create them with you. These visions will hold such light that people will be touched by them, thereby accelerating the plan for Earth. Paul carries the flame of liberty and is helping to set you free. And one of my connections I got last year, the year before, was about the Statue of Liberty. Was a Palladian ship coming in to the top of the Statue of Liberty, and the angels at the bottom of the statue, there's something they were passing on to them. So there's definitely a connection there, the Statue of Liberty, and the flame of liberty is setting you free. The affirmation is, I express myself creatively and harmoniously. And I want to bring up my energy portraits too, if you didn't hear of it before and you see it below. I'm doing energy portraits. You send me your favorite picture of you, or you and your twin, whoever, but I don't really want to do more than 2 people per picture, because it is energetic draw for me and it takes more time. But the energy portraits are all about a psychic energy signature I get. So there'll be some kind of literal drawn line for you. That'll be your energetic signature. And I expand psychically on that energy on the picture for you. Okay, so you can see some of them from my tags on my website, because I have one of myself and of my daughter up there. So you can check them out. But it's not just the drawing, it has your energetic signature on it. I also give them to you with a psychic message for you. That can be given just in written form with the picture that I send you, but it also can be worked into the portrait if that's what you prefer. Okay, so I can do up to 2 people, because again, I'm doing energetic draws here to do the drawings, and it does take quite a bit of time also to create the picture. I'm also doing twin eye merges, which is, I've shown you a couple days ago, I put up the merging of my eyes with my twin's eyes, so you can actually see how perfectly matched they are. And I do a 5 process of showing you how you go to your twin. So if you have 2 good pictures of your twins, I can do the whole face, but the twin eyes merge is just $28. That's something quick I can do for you, giving you the 5 positions of the eyes, from your eyes to their eyes. So that's pretty cool. And if anything comes up when I'm doing those, naturally, of course, I will give you that information. And of course, my other services, if you want any coaching, channeling, I am a Reiki Master. But of course, our abilities are beyond Reiki right now. So anything you need, I'm here. Okay, so if you just want a regular fun card read for you as well, for me it's much more about an eye-opening session to see what you're really thinking about, because often when I'm sitting here with my kids' friends doing their cards for them, it's more about exposing to them what their issue really is, because what they're bringing up isn't usually what the cards are showing them is the issue. So it's very much a counseling session when I do this. It's really not so much of a prediction, although some predictions will come up. So just so you know, I'm going to pull up some more cards now. And again, the cards all came out because there's 7 of them. And we have the past life deck. I'm getting some really good psychic messages coming through this deck. Well, this is again from Jesus and Mary Magdalene, please. I thought I was going to get weepy in this one, but I feel actually really good now. Thank you, guys. I was excited to talk to you. Take another deep breath. All right. March 2nd, 2019. For everyone watching, in the best and highest good of all those concerned, what is it we need to know? What do we need to learn? And we are posing this to Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Take another deep breath. Okay, another bunch of messages. All right, so we have male, female, align yourself, spine to spine. that helps you merge your energies before you have a conversation. And also that was energy in the read coming up, is turning their backs to each other, so it was the masculine. This was earlier on in the present, but going forward, he's coming into his knowing, okay? So there was, his inner child always wanted to come forward, but you know, his man, he needed to grow up into his full maturity so he could come forward. So this is the underlying energy, and it's coming up from Atlantis reversed, okay? So anything negative that happened between you and Atlantis, this was like the start of your break, right, where they went off with when you were being experimented on in Atlantis and left you and took off with your karmic, which may very well be the karmic from this life, okay, where he left you behind. So there's the two dolphins, you know, upside down there. And the little fishes, you know, the little gossiping fishes around the community. Okay, see that? That's coming up around the turning their back on each other, okay? All right, so there's several messages coming up. Let's see where we go here. So we have spouse and wars and battles in this first two. I was getting War of the Roses first, and then I'm getting, this isn't your mother's marriage. Like it's saying, you know, this is the modern marriage, the really good one, the one that you're going to love. It's not about the wars and battles anymore. There's no sacrifice here. There's no the North versus the South. That might have been the masculine karmic relationship, but this is not the marriage that you're coming into. It's very pure and beautiful and loving and kind and generous and sweet. And he's very much a gentleman. Even if he's not a gentleman, he's a gentleman. Okay? It's coming up. It's like coming up, you know, the cart before the horse, that you have to do it before you bring it in, right? So you have to clean out before you can bring something new in. It's saying if you want them to behave a certain way, you have to treat them as if they were already behaving that way. So that's coming up for those two. Second two. And there's a lot of heavy, oh, I'm getting nauseous from this one. There's some heavy energies just from today, but also is coming in from you guys that I'm talking to now. Ships, and then medicine man or woman is reversed, and I'm getting sick, like I want to throw up, so someone might be getting sick. Oh, seasick, okay. This came up yesterday too, that somebody was throwing up on a ship, and I do get seasick, but I've been on cruises and I would go on another cruise, but I do tend to get seasick. So some of your masculines may want to know that about you, if you get seasick or not, if you can handle it. So they may be planning something for you. But I'm getting, someone may be on a boat where they get sick and there's no, and like could be a cruise where there's the doctor on board. Either there isn't anyone there to help you, or there's somebody who's an alternative, which you actually like. And it's opening your eyes, because the blinds are opening here. It's so pure and fresh and new, a fresh perspective on medicine. Allowing the wind in your sail, giving you back the wind in your sail. Ships coming in. It's making me want to cry. I'm like getting something and then I lose it. So I was just getting a personal message, but it might relate to some of you guys too. I know that my son and I jumped ship together and drowned in deep sea, and that pain was coming up. But that's being undone. So the wounds that you're releasing, like, you know, the fear of deep water, because although I you know, I'm a great swimmer and all that kind of stuff, and I go out on cruises. If I go out on the railing, you know, in the room, if I have a balcony there, it's terrifying for me to actually look out at night, in the middle of the night, and be in the deep ocean water. It's a terrifying feeling for me. There's nothingness out there. It's just deep ocean water. It's very much a lone abandonment feeling. Being left out in the ocean to die is a very, very deep feeling. So we're bringing that up to release it. And we're also bringing up, because it was bringing up for me too, getting your head cut off. So any of you who have issues with anything around your neck, is because you've been decapitated. So let that come up so you can release it. There is no modern cure for that. It's for you to recognize it and let it go. And now your ship is coming in. Those ships have sailed. The blinds are open. Blinds are taken off. You don't need to hide things anymore. With your medicine man or woman. Bright new horizons. More sun than shadow. And those little shadows are no-brainers, I'm getting. Don't worry. Your masculine will have something for that anxiety. Pretty funny. It's saying to not discount modern medicine, because there are a lot of really good things. I mean, you can rely on alternative medicine for most of what you need, but don't discount modern medicine, all right? Those doctors there, and most of the doctors' points of views are not the administrative point of views that you see as the reputation, that kind of thing. You know, they're very hard-working light workers, most of them. But they're just not, you know, they're not taught certain things in medical school, and so they can't be insured for them in the hospitals, so they're going to get in trouble if they talk about certain things. So when you go talk to your doctor, don't assume that they're telling you that they know everything, because they don't, and some things they're not allowed to talk about. And if they're honest, they'll tell you they're not allowed to talk about it. Okay, so don't discount either one. All right. Next, sorry this is going to go long. I meant to keep this short today, but it's an important one. All right, they're all 3 different colors here I'm getting. Phobias, angels, and high priest or priestess. They're all reversed. And I'll show you them each so you can see them more clearly. Angels and phobias, okay? So I was just getting the flashbacks of me getting deja vus in like Connecticut. So definitely the Salem witch trials are coming up here to let go of those. You're letting go of fallen angels and fears or phobias. All right, so we're letting all of that go now. There's this big purge right now. It's the reason why you're purging so much is they're answering you the questions. They're answering your questions. All right, so the Salem witch trials and any other witch trials type things, I literally got when I was in the south of France at the Mary Magdalene cave, that I was burned at the stake there and thrown off the cliff. I also was getting that my masculine, actually as a baby, just with 2 fingers, dropped me as an infant off the cliff. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming up here. So, and that may be a lot of reason for phobias, okay? And fallen angels if you don't trust angels. But these are all been cleared now. Green. Green, gray, and the middle one's kind of yellowish. You see this? It's green, purple, and gold, right? Your green and gold of your masculine and feminine, and then the gold Christ consciousness in between. They're all very faded in color, but that's this color scheme that's coming across here. So for the magenta colors or the purple colors is coming up more of the Salem witch trials. The green's coming up around phobias, so the masculines may have a lot of phobias. And then just for both of you, any fallen angels, or seeing your twin as a fallen angel, that all of that's being let go. And then these last 2 are forgiveness and persecution and inquisition is reversed. Okay, so of course forgiveness, on its own. The beautiful doves, the two pure, with their wings, flying together. She may be giving him a dirty look now and then, but it's all good. Forgiveness. And we're letting go of persecution and inquisition. We're not trying to hang the other person. We've all experienced that enough. Like, don't, jump on your masculine about every question, everything you want answered, right? Align your energies back to back. Allow things to come out naturally. They may not initially apologize if their pride's still in the way, but it's just allowing things to unfold naturally. They'll apologize later, but don't make it the primary focus when you first come back together. That's what's coming up there. All right, so now we have Journey of Love. Take another deep breath. Journey of Love. Clear line. Clear line. Clear line. Okay. All right, again, March 2nd, 2019. For everyone watching, the best in high school of all is concerned. Proposing to Jesus and Mary Magdalene. What is it we need to know? What is it we need to learn? Take another deep breath, guys. Release frustrations. Let it all go. Let it all go. The wind in your sails. Allow it to all come out. There we go. See how that came out by itself? Didn't have to do a thing. But they do want me to count some cards here. Okay. The bottom of the deck is the Void. Number 40 comes up again. All right. The Void. The card that came out for you guys is Contemplation, 69, which is the Ace of Pentacles, a new life. Contemplate your new life, exactly what you want. And it is a 6 of love, family, and community. Oh, also that was coming up as a cure for hiccups, like the airplane position, when you bend over to protect your head or face, arms over and bending over. Of course not if you have back issues, don't do that. But that was coming up yesterday for hiccups. But also she's got her head, to help focus on your heart. And I'll read that one to you, but I want to bring up the others too, just to see how many there are. One. Take another deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's 7 again that came out, and then the last one to come out, but separate. The 8th one's separate, I'm being told. So the 7 was coming up to match with the 7s that kept coming up today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because the one that we pulled already is separate than these, or actually the last one's separate from all of these. We have, and the last one is different, and I'll show you why. 39 is let the feminine lead the way, so one might need to feed. All right, 39, that came up already. That's the Knight of Cups. The Ancient Ones, the Queen of Swords, that came up as well, 52. Ethereal Touch, number 27. Ace of Wands. Okay, Passionate New Beginning. The Temples, 59. That's Brain Wars, the 5 of Swords, the Temple. Make sure to align your energies. 44 comes up, Rings of Time, the Masters, and Rings of Time. Okay. 44 is the weight of the world upon your shoulders, Atlas, but it's the mastering. The grounding and integrating is the mastering part. This part is not easy, the boredom part. And then this one, 53, which is 53 is the Catapult. It is the Knight of Swords rushing in with news. Legacy of Light. Family Legacy of Light. And then the final card that came out, which was separated from all the rest, is the Swan. Paramahamsa, which came up. You can see that video. It has the 2 swans superimposed over the card read if you want to know which video that was. The Swan 67 is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is very slow and sure-footed. He's very practical. Okay? He saves, but he also does things in moderation. Okay, it's very black and white. And I'm just getting to the not too cold, not too hot, not too cold, but just right. All right, so Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Everything in moderation, and that his divine feminine is just right for him. It's perfect for him. Okay, pure, with just a little bit of shadow, so that he could see the details better. See? His bird. All right, so I read you the Contemplation, number 69, and then we're good. All right, 69, Contemplation. Within you, there is a question arising. When you get the question right, the answer will be self-evident. We were getting evidentiary support earlier. But you have to plunge your consciousness deep within to find the right question. And we're coming up to the question at 1:11:00 and 01. To articulate it clearly and understand what it is you're really asking. That question within you is actually a divine gift of awakening. It's your future awakened self waiting to be found and calling to you too. Let the question arise through dreams, dance, meditation, sleep, yoga, time in nature, swimming in the ocean, bathing in aromatherapy bath, or receiving a hot stone massage. The question holds within it the next unfolding petal of the lotus of your being. This oracle brings you an invitation to enter into the mystery of your life and your being, and to allow the biggest question you can summon to emerge from your heart and be expressed through love. Your question may emerge as clear and shining, or soft and yielding, a question with no words, only feeling. Whatever truth emerges, let that be your contemplation. In response to that question, the next step forward will unfold before you, revealed in perfect clarity and perfect timing. And it's 12:12. 1:12:01. This oracle brings you a message from your own divine nature. Come sit with me and breathe. And breathe the air came up today. I want to ask you something. I want you to ask me something. Together there's a conversation that we are to have now, and there will be beautiful accord between us that overflows into all of your relationships, bringing more understanding and peace. The poem reads, patterns break through the night in beams of light awakening, memories of walking on sand, moments, waves replace, waiting for another passerby, reflections, time to look outward in, to find those hidden spaces, residing alone, waiting for a twin soul, waiting for myself. Okay, and I just have to show you the picture of the reed. All right, this is the basic. There's the tag. And then here's the read for today. See if I can get that a little clearer. Alright, there you go. And I think there were some cards that dropped out. Let me just double check. Yeah, 2 sets dropped out during this read. These 3 came up, as well as, I think it's this way, yep, and these 3. Okay. That was 333. Rise and be loved, guys.